here. Last week, I started talking about some of the subtle energies of our breath, the subtle energies that our breath affects within our body. I'm referring to one of my pranayama books called The Power of Breath. And there are 5 forms of prana in our body. Now, prana means energy, breath, life. It's all in the same. The 5th form of prana is called Udana prana, and that's the one I've been concentrating on last week and this week. Udana prana. So Udana prana is our expressive breath. It's an upward flowing breath, and it cultivates your self-awareness, self-esteem, and self-expression. It goes hand in hand with the Vishuddha chakra, which is your throat chakra, which is a purifying chakra. So one of the pranayama exercises that stimulates Udana breath is Bharani breath. Bharani breath, which is called bumblebee breath. This particular pranayama frees your mind from chatter, improves your concentration, improves your memory, and gives you a feeling of inner peace. Research has shown, and humming leads to a dramatic increase of airflow and levels of nitric oxide in your body. Nitric oxide is an antifungal, antibacterial, and antiviral element produced in your body. So this Bharani breath, bumblebee breath, is a humming breath. Ancient yoga texts equate the inhale of your breath to the sound of a male bee, and the exhale of your breath to the sound of a female bee. So here's how it works. You're going to inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. Rest your tongue on the roof of your mouth just gently. And then as you inhale, you're going to make a little bit of a snoring sound by contracting your glottis, and just a very gentle snoring sound inhaling through your nose. And then exhale, you're going to make a humming sound, like a high-pitched humming sound around the key of C, as you exhale through your nose. And these are very long, drawn inhalations and long exhalations, inhaling with the male bee sound of the slight little snore, and exhaling with the female bee sound of a high-pitched hum. Okay, so let's try it. Let's do 5 rounds at your own pace. Close your eyes, sit up tall so that your airways have lots of freedom. Take a couple of normal breaths to get your concentration going. And then at your own pace, inhale and exhale through your nose with the bee breath, Bharani breath. I'll do it with you. After you've completed your 5 rounds, bring your breathing back to normal. And I shall greet you with Om Balu Satguru Bhagavan Ki. The divine is the inner teacher. So you could also do that bumblebee breath with your holding your ears closed, and it sort of exaggerates the sound in your mind. But you also notice as you hum, as you exhale, how it prolongs your exhalation. And the prolonged exhalation is very calming. It affects your parasympathetic nervous system and calms down the body and reduces anxiety and stress. All right, so starting in a cross-legged position, if that is comfortable enough for you to be in, we're going to open our shoulders a lot today. We're going to work on our backs today. So we'll take our arms and float them up like wings. Just let them float up. Palms facing down. And then tense your muscles as you bring your arms down with very tense muscles, like you're pushing down on some weights. And then float them up again very lightly, as if a cloud is letting them float. And then push the weights down, tensing your arm muscles. And one more, slowly float up like clouds. And then one more tense, strong pushing down using all your arm muscles. And then pause here. So now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to tense and strongly push our arms up and keep on tension, 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 as if you have something on the back of your hands. And then let the clouds just allow your hands to float down. And once again, up as if you had weights sitting on your hands, using all your muscles to lift these weights, and then float all the way back down. And one last time, tense, strong arms, lifting the weights up. And once more, float the arms down like clouds. Okay, shake your arms out a little bit, and then take your fingertips and place them on your shoulders before angel wings, and start making little circles, bringing your elbows forward and then up and then behind, just tiny little circles. This is also called hummingbird wings. So this goes with our humming breath. And then make the circles a little bigger, and then bigger, and then bigger, and then bigger, and bigger. And now inhale forward, exhale open, inhale forward, exhale open, inhale forward, exhale open. One more time, inhale forward, exhale open, and pause here. Take a deep breath. Exhale, bring your elbows together in front of you. Inhale, open. Exhale, lift your elbows up and bring the palms of your hands together behind your head. They don't have to touch, but make sure your neck stays nice and long and don't crunch your neck. And then inhale, open. Okay, we'll repeat that. Inhale, exhale forward, inhale, open, exhale up, inhale, open, exhale forward, inhale, open, exhale up, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and then release. Shake your arms and shake your shoulders. Okay, if you would like to switch the cross of your legs, now would be a good time to do that, so we don't get one-sided. And with your spine nice and tall and the crown of your head lifting up to the heavens, we're going to inhale, arms in a T. Exhale, twist to the right. Take your left hand on the right thigh, right hand behind. And every time you exhale, get a little deeper in the twist. A couple of breaths here. And then to add a little bit more to the next stretch, we're going to take our head, keep our body twisted, take our head and just very slowly turn our head to the center, and then turn it as much as you can to look over your left shoulder. Big neck stretch here. Inhale. Exhale as you very slowly bring your head back to the right side of your body. And then inhale. Exhale, return your body back to center. Okay, inhale, open arms. Exhale, twist to the left. Right hand comes to the left thigh. Left hand parks behind, keeping your spine nice and tall. Every time you exhale, get a little deeper in the twist. Think about your spine spiraling up toward the heavens. And now take a deep breath. Keep the twist as you turn your head very slowly back to center. And then very slowly keep turning to look over your right shoulder. Try to keep your shoulders down from your ears as you turn your head. And inhale. Exhale as you slowly bring your head back all the way around to the left. And then inhale. Exhale, bring your torso back to center. Bring your hands, please, to the heart center of your chest. Inhale, push your fingertips up. Exhale, let your right hand float down beside your hip. Your left arm's going to come beside your ear, opening the left ribs. Make sure that you push your left sit bone down into the mat or the padding. A couple of breaths here. And then push into your right hand, come all the way back up to meet your left hand. And then inhale, push your fingertips up. Exhale, let your left hand float down to beside your hip and the right arm beside your ear. And then push up into your left hand to bring your hand all the way back up. Take a deep breath, push up with your fingertips. Exhale, bring your hand slowly back down to your heart center. And then please now come onto your hands and knees in table position and pad the knees accordingly here. Your wrists are underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. We're going to grease our hinges. Take a deep breath with a flat back. Exhale, bring your hips towards your heels. Slowly, 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 slowly. They don't have to come all the way down, but if they can, that's good. And then as slowly come back up to table as you inhale. And then one more exhale, slowly bring your bottom down to your heels, greasing all the hinges, the wrists, the shoulders, the elbows, the hips, the knees, and then come all the way back up to table. And then one more time back to your child position. And this time we're going to stay in child pose. So allow your head to melt down between your arms. If it can reach the mat, that's fine. And walk your hands forward as far as you can to feel a real opening in the shoulders here. So think about your tailbone being pointed down and your crown of your head's down, so your back is a slight C curve. Now walk your hands to the right as far as you can. Your head is still between your arms, but it's not on the mat anymore. And then take your right hand on top of your left hand on top of your right wrist to enhance that stretch. And then walk your hands back to center. And then over to the left as far as they will go. And then your right hand comes over your left wrist. And very slowly, hands walk back to center. Now, from here, come on up to table. And then we're going to do something similar to what we just did, except we're going to do it in the puppy pose. So in puppy pose, you walk your hands forward, but your tailbone stays up in the air. It doesn't go back towards your heels like a child pose. So this is an extension of the spine. And then your head and chest melt down toward the mat. So your fingers are spread as if you were in downward facing dog. This is a big extension. Think about sticking your tailbone way up in the air. Your head does not have to come down all the way to the mat. And now, keeping your hips way up in the air, walk your hands to the right and allow your chest to melt down. And walk hands back to center and keep on walking all the way to the left and let your chest melt down, keeping your hips way up in the air. And walk hands back to center, and please come back to a square table. Okay, from here, we're gonna take our right leg and kick it up, right foot and kick it up to the ceiling. So flex your right foot and bend the knee and kick up toward the ceiling as if your sole of your foot is going to touch the ceiling above you. And then just do that a few times, just pulsating your hip open with your foot going up toward the ceiling, kicking up like a tiger kick. They call this tiger kicks. And then one more kick up, and then bring your leg extended, toes down behind you. And from here, we're going to lift our left arm and our right leg into balancing table. A couple more breaths here. This is very good for your core muscles. And then the hand comes down, your foot comes down, but keep it extended behind you. And then walk your toes over to the left. Look over your left shoulder. Maybe you can see your tail, the cat tail. And then pick up your foot, inhale, exhale, swing it all the way around to the right side of your body, and then plant it down perpendicular to your body. And then put weight in your left hand and twist open to the right. And then the right hand comes down. And now bend your right knee a little bit so that you can walk that foot up further toward your head or forward of your head as you sink down onto your forearms or onto your blocks in lizard pose. So in lizard pose, you want your knee somewhere close to the shoulder, a big wide angle in the leg. Big hip opener. And then if you're on your forearms, push up to your hands and then walk the foot back all the way back into your table position. Flat back inhale. As you exhale, kick your left foot up, flex the foot, flex the knee, and step on the ceiling with your left foot coming up and down, pulsating as you kick up toward the ceiling. One last kick up and then straighten the leg and bring the foot down, toes down behind you with the leg extended. Lift your right arm and then lift your left leg into balancing table. A couple of breaths here, engage your core muscles. And then the hand comes down, the leg comes down, but keep your foot on the mat extended. And then walk the foot all the way to the right side of your body so that you could look over your right shoulder and maybe see your foot. Inhale as you lift your foot, exhale, swing your foot all the way over so it's perpendicular to the body on the left side. Put weight into your right hand and then twist open to the left. Inhale, exhale, hand comes down and bend the knee slightly as you walk that foot forward of your head. And with a wide angle, you can either stay on your hands or come onto blocks or come onto your forearms down on the mat. So again, on this side, you want your foot forward of your head, wide angle bend in the knee, and the knee is somewhere near your shoulder. Push up into your hands and then walk the foot back and then come all the way onto your belly. So once you're on your belly, bring your hands wide on your mat, even outside of your mat if you want to, if you have grip on it, but make sure your hands don't slip. And have your hands in line with your shoulders, and then spread your legs a little bit so there's a V between your legs, and push your tops of your feet down into the mat if you can do that, and push your pelvis into the mat. And think about rolling your tops of your thighs down toward the mat. So the outer edges of your thighs are rolling down toward the mat. And then push into your hands and come up into this wide cobra. You don't have to come up very high, but as you do that, keep pushing your pelvis and your thighs into the mat so you're not pinching your back. And then think about your head coming out of a turtle shell so your neck extends long and the crown of your head goes forward. And breathe and your chest is forward. And then really slowly lower down. And you can keep your legs where they are, spread in a V, and then take your hands. I'm going to give you a couple options here. Either clasp your hands behind your back, or if that doesn't work for you, then just bring your hands alongside your body, palms facing up. Now, either way, you're going to be opening your chest by lifting your head and your shoulders. And if you have your hands clasped behind you, you're going to push your hands away. And if you don't have your hands clasped behind you, you're going to push your fingertips away, moving your shoulders down away from your ears. And then come all the way back down, release. Bring your arms into a T, palms facing down. Now this will also depend on how your shoulder feels. We're going to roll on to our right shoulder. So if it bothers your shoulder, you can bring your arm closer to your body. But if it doesn't bother your shoulder, you want your arm out directly perpendicular to your body. Roll onto that shoulder, bend your knees as you do that. And then your left arm can either stay in front of you for support, several options here, stay in front of you for support, or you can just wrap your arm behind your back, or grab your ankle and you get the quad stretch with this by bringing your top foot into your bottom. So if you're doing the quad stretch, you're getting a double whammy here, quad stretch and the shoulder stretch. 2 for the price of 1. And release. If you have your ankle, release it back and then slowly roll back onto your belly. Arms in a T. so that we can now roll to the left side, bending your knees. And once again, you can either take your right hand, keep it in front of you for support, or you can wrap it around behind you to open the top shoulder, or bend your top leg and grab the ankle and bring the ankle into your bottom for a quad stretch. And release if you have your ankle, and slowly roll back onto your belly. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, push back to table. And from here, we're going to do from table to upward facing dog, but keep your knees down on the mat here. So just shift your body forward, and with your knees still on the mat and your toes uncurled if possible, bring your chest forward between your upper arms and think about reaching the crown of your head up, making your neck long, chest is open. This is a delicious back bend and chest opener. And then come back to table. From table, get your hands underneath your shoulders, walk your feet back to full plank pose, engaging your belly muscles, engaging all your abdominal muscles. Now from here, you could either put your knees down or not and shift your body to upward facing dog. And if you can uncurl your toes, do so and press the tops of your feet into the mat. Upward facing dog, knees up or down. Now, if your knees are up, put them down now, push back to table, and then curl your toes under, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, walk up to your hands, and very slowly rise up. Inhale, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, arms in a T, back to Anjali Mudra. And then back to Tadasana, pose in Tadasana. And take this is a little balancing thing that we did last week. Take your right foot, cross it on the other side of your left foot. And I probably should have told you before you got your legs crossed, if you want to use blocks here, get your blocks handy. Because we're going to forward fold, and you have the option to forward fold with put your hands on the blocks. So right leg now over left, pinky toe to pinky toe. Come from your hip crease with a nice flat back. Your knees are slightly bent as you come forward, and then your hands will rest on your blocks or the mat, and your knees are slightly bent. Keep your back long so you feel a stretch in not only your hamstrings, but also your lower back. And very slowly rise up. I think this is way harder than it looks. And then uncross. And then cross left leg over right, pinky toe to pinky toe. Coming again from your hip crease. Hinge forward, flat back. Bring your hands down to the mat or to your blocks. Keep your back nice and long. Try not to hunch it. Keep your knees slightly bent. And then slowly come up. Inhale up. Exhale, arms in a T. Anjali Mudra, uncross, and Tadasana. Okay, so for our one-legged balance today, I'd like to give you a couple of options of Ekapada. Ekapada means 1 foot, 1 foot. So option number 1, we'll start with our left leg, picking up our right leg. Option number 1 is just to bring your knee up toward your chest and just hold your leg with your hands underneath of it. Option 2 is to see if you can grab your ankle or your big toe and then extend your leg. Use your left arm for balance any way that you like. And then the option 3 is just to keep your leg up without any hold at all. Maybe you want to try all of those options. And slowly come down. Good, really good. Okay, shift weight to your right foot. And again, option 1, just lift the knee up in front, just hold it with your hands. Option 2 is to grab the toe with the same hand and extend. And then option 3 would be to let go. And then slowly come down. Good. And shake your body out. Okay, so please, I think it'd be better to see me if you turn your mat sideways for what we're about to do next. So take a moment to turn your mat sideways and have your blocks handy if you're using blocks. If you're using blocks, the blocks will be right in the middle of your mat in front of you. Step your feet apart. Not so wide as a 5-pointed star, a little bit closer in from a 5-pointed star. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your hands and clasp them behind your back. And this is called Dvipada, means 2-foot folds. So take a deep breath here. And as you exhale, you're going to come down in the middle, right between your legs, and the hands are coming up to the ceiling. Your knees are, your legs are straight, but don't lock your knees out here. Dvipada, 2-footed fold. And then slowly come up. Keep your hands clasped. Turn your torso to the left and then come down with your chest aiming toward your left leg. Slowly come back up. Now re-thread your fingers so that the opposite thumb is on top. Now turn your torso to the right and then come forward with bringing your chest toward your right leg. And slowly rise back up. Okay, this time we're going to do the same thing again. Turn your, with a little different twist, turn your body to the right, fold over the right leg, release your hands, take your right hand onto your, you're folding over our left leg, take your right hand onto your left ankle, and we're twisting our body open to the left. So your left hand is up behind you. And release your leg, bring your hands behind you, clasp them again. Very slowly rise up. And then turn your torso to the right. Bow down. Release your hands. This time the left hand comes to the right ankle or calf, and your right arm extends behind you. Release your ankle, bring your hands behind you, clasp your hands again, and then slowly come up. Then release your clasp, shake your arms out, walk your feet together for a moment. So that's huge shoulder opener. So a lot of us have been doing gardening, which is hard on the backs, hard on the shoulders. So I'm hoping a lot of the stuff we're doing today will get all those kinks out. Okay, so now let's go into our 5-pointed star with our feet wide apart, toes pointed forward, and arms parallel to the ground. Okay, push your fingertips away from each other, push your feet away from each other on the sticky mat so you're engaging all your muscles. Pivot your right toes 90 degrees, bend the right knee, pick up your left heel, scoot it back a little bit so you come into your warrior two here. So in warrior two, you want your front heels to be lined up with your back arch, tailbone down, chest toward me. And we're going to start by turning our head and looking over the middle finger of our right hand. Now bring your arms down, grab an imaginary t-shirt, corners, and then bring your arms back up over your head and keep your palms facing up as you open into warrior two. And then again, bring your arms down, grab your t-shirt. If you remember which hand was on top, do the opposite arm on top. Bring it over your head, palms facing up, back into warrior two. And now keep your palms up, shoulders down from your ears, and just turn your head really slowly so you keep your balance and look over your back hand. Very slowly bring your head back to center. Straighten the front foot, palms face down, back to your 5-pointed star. Bring your hands now to your thighs, walk your feet in, toes pointed outward so that you can scunch down into your football huddle. So this is the football huddle here. Your back is flat, your knees are bent, your chest is down toward the mat. This is something you may or may not see happening this year. So you're going to now shift your weight to the left, straighten your right leg, and you're going to bring your right shoulder down toward the mat. And then come back to center, back into your huddle position. Take a deep breath here. Exhale, shift your weight now to the right. Your left shoulder is coming down toward the mat. And back to center. Slowly come up. Point your feet forward. Back to your 5-pointed star. Pivot your left toes 90 degrees, bend your left knee, pick up your right heel, scoot your back, come into your warrior two on this side. And then turn your head to look over the middle finger of your left hand. Chest is still facing me. Make sure you're paying attention to your front knee, that it stays over the ankle, and make sure you're paying attention to your back foot, that it has equal weight as your front foot. Your arms are parallel. Now bring your hands down in front of you, back to the t-shirt, and then we'll open the t-shirt over our heads, palms facing up. And then come back down, the opposite hand on top, pull the t-shirt over your head, and then palms facing up. Look over the middle finger of your left hand. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, turn your head slowly, slowly, slowly to look over the fingers of your back hand. Very slowly, bring your head back to center. Straighten both legs, point the toes forward, palms facing down, back to 5-pointed star. Now pivot from your hips. Bend your knees and bring your hands all the way down to the mat, either on blocks or on the mat. And stretch your spine long, allowing your head to dangle. And think about your tailbone pushing up and back so that you can feel the stretch in your lower back. Okay, now we're going to take our right toes and cock them about 45 degrees so that they're pointed outward. And then walk your hands over to the right as you straighten your left leg. So this is a side squat. Your arms are on the inside of the leg. You can rest your shoulder on your knee on your shoulder if you like. Stay here for a couple of breaths. And your hands can also be on blocks here, if that's more comfortable for you. And then straighten the front, the knee as you walk your hands back to center. Pivot the right foot back to center. Then pivot your left toes out at about 45 degrees, so it's at an angle. Walk your hands to the left as you bend your left knee, straighten your right leg for a side squat here. And walk your hands back to center. Bend your knees, come all the way up. Back to 5-pointed star, toes facing forward, fingertips away from each other. And then drop your arms down, walk your feet back together, shake it all out. And come to the top of your mat, whatever you want the top of your mat to be. Inhale, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bend your knees, hands come all the way down. Step back to downward facing dog. We'll pause here for just a couple of breaths. Spread your fingers wide, forearms squeezing toward each other, upper shoulders rolling outward. Keep your knees bent so that you can have a nice long spine. Now, very slowly, walk your hands toward your feet, bending your knees as much as possible to get there. And then pause, and very slowly, right up. Reach up, Urdhva Hastasana, inhale. Exhale, arms in a T, Anjali Mudra. Bring your arms back to Tadasana, and then turn to face the other edge of your mat. And then inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bend your knees, forward fold, all the way down. And once again, step back to downward facing dog. Spread the fingers, bend the knuckles so they take some weight out of your wrists. Forearms squeezing toward each other, deltoids rolling away from each other. Hips as high up as you can go. Your head is melting between your arms. And now bring your knees down to the mat. Sit back toward your heels into child pose, and then bring your arms by your sides, this time palms facing up. And rest your head on a block or a blanket with a mat. And then while you're here, gently open and close your fists to release your wrists, and then circle your wrists in both directions. And then rest for another couple of breaths here. And then very slowly push up. Come seated with your knees bent. And separate your feet so that they're wide on the mat. And then put your hands behind you just anyway, just so that you can prop yourself up. And then allow your knees to fall to the right, so your left hip is going to be lifting off the mat. And your left knees close to your opposite foot. And then back to center. And then go the other way. So now the other hip is coming off the mat, knee to opposite foot. And now back to center. So now I'm going to face you this way so you can see we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to keep on going. I'll show you what I mean. We're going to let our knees fall to the right. And then your left hip is off the mat. You're going to push your left hand off the mat and bring it to the right side of your body. So both hands are now above your right thigh. So you're going to put all the weight now is in your right hip, your right thigh, and right calf. You're walking your hands to the right. Continue to twist your body so that your body now is behind you. And then you can melt down onto your forearms if that feels good to you. Or bring your head down to the mat, or you can rest your head onto your hands, whatever suits you here. Or rest your head on a bolster or a block. Push into your hands to pop back up, and then come back to center. And now we'll go to the opposite side. So you're going to let your knees fall. Come onto the left hip, bring your left hand around. Your right hand around to the left side, and you're going to walk your hands behind you just like we did. Resting your head on your hands or the mat. Slowly push up. Come all the way back around. Lie on your backs with your knees bent. And if you have a block, or push into your feet and put your sacrum on the block and allow your legs to float up in the air. If you don't have a block, you can put a pillow, a blanket, or just let your legs float up without the block. Or you can put your legs on a wall. So whatever you have propping up your hips or propping up your sacrum, it should feel like you're floating in water. So if it doesn't feel that way, you need to move around your prop underneath of your hips so that you can get to the right balancing point. Slowly lower your feet down. Lift your hips and remove your prop. Stretch your legs long on the mat. And then bring your arms overhead, palms facing up, full body stretch. Fingertips going in one direction, feet going in the other direction. Inhale. Exhale, bend your right knee and bring your hands to clasp around your right shin and hug the knee into the chest. Inhale. As you exhale, curl your head and shoulders off the mat, bring your nose to the knee. And then slowly unwind your spine back down. And then let go of your leg, stretch your leg long on the mat, arms overhead, full body stretch. Inhale. Exhale, left knee bends, and then your hands clasp the left shin and hug that into your chest. Inhale. Exhale, lift your head and shoulders off the mat. Bring your nose to your knee. Slowly unwind. Release your leg long on the mat. Inhale, arms overhead, full body stretch. Exhale, bend both knees and hug both knees into your chest, lacing your fingers around your shins. Take a deep breath. Exhale, lift your head and your shoulders, tuck your chin as you bring your forehead towards your knees. Slowly release your spine back down. Bring your feet back to the mat. One more full body stretch. And bring your arms to your sides. Bend your knees, walk your feet together. And then bring the soles of your feet into each other as you allow your knees to fall out to the sides. Bring your arms into a T beside your body, palms facing up, and allow gravity just to gently open your groin area for a few breaths. This is called Supta Baddha Konasana. Reclined, bound angle pose. And please take your hands to the outside of your thighs and slowly, gently push your legs together. Extend your legs long and come into your Shavasana. Getting comfortable any way that you like. And start focusing on your breath. Slow down your breathing. Allow your entire body to relax. As I read you this poem by Mary Oliver. Mary Oliver is an American poet who died last year, and she's very famous for her poems because it's a lot of nature imagery in her poems. And this poem is called At Great Pond. At Great Pond, the sun, rising, scrapes his orange breast on the thick pines, and down tumble a few orange feathers into the dark water. On the far shore, a white bird is standing like a white candle, or a man in the distance in the clasp of some meditation. while all around me the lilies are breaking open again from the black cave of the night. Later, I will consider what I have seen, what it could signify, what words of adoration I might make of it. And to do this, I will go indoors to my desk. I will sit in my chair. I will look back into the lost morning in which I am now moving, now like a swimmer, so smoothly, so peacefully. I am almost the lily, almost the bird vanishing over the water on its sleeves of night. Please bring your awareness back to your breath as you slowly deepen your breathing and make small movements with hands and feet to gently wake up your body. Please slowly bend your knees and roll on to your right side in a fetal position to seal the practice. And then please very slowly, keeping a quiet mind, push up to seated. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. Namaste. And Jai Yogis. And thank you again for being here. Stay safe.